Jacob says, I was starting to see my micro big bang truly optimize with crazy sales compared to cost. And then I switched tracking companies, which reset the learning phase and it died. Damn, that was hard to take. And then you refreshed and you got back on your track. So keep in mind, half the battle is being like, oh shit, this thing's taking a shit, refresh on the spot. Rich says, what is 7-day click? So keep in mind, ladies and gents, that is the attribution window. For audiences that are going to be kept on, that are horizontal, that are more slow cook focused, you'll be running a 7-day click. For audiences that are higher budget, like CBO and a higher budget ABO, you'll be running a 1-day click. Kareem says, how long would we typically be at this stage of MBB? Well, MBB is going to be running long-term. So you're not going to ever not be at this stage, Kareem. You'll just graduate to also launch Big Bang. Now, who can tell me what the difference is between macro and micro? What is the difference between macro and micro? Oh, it's still horizontal. It's still horizontal. Okay, remember, micro and macro are the same everything except the budget. Okay, but because all the budgets in the campaign are the same, it makes it horizontal, right? It's just the difference is 1.5 budget to $5 budget, right? 1.5 budget to $5 budget. Still horizontal, okay? With that being said, okay, what I want us all to understand here, guys, okay, is Big Bang. This is where you can and you will experience your micro performing exceptionally well, then your Big Bang performing exceptionally well, and then you'll also experience your micro Big Bang doing exceptionally well, then your Big Bang going to shit, then you skipping it, going to CBO and it doing exceptionally well. Okay, this is where it gets this is essentially where you can really blow the roof off of it. And the only reason that we do this before this, because it gives us double the ammo. And what I want us all to realize is this. Everyone pay attention. I'm about to have an aha moment with you. Remember how we spoke about that the micro Big Bang is only 1 to 5, right? So that's going to be like, 50 to 100 audiences and change, right? So it's only 1 to 5, which means that you still have 5 all the way to 10. That's a whole nother micro Big Bang audience to be launched, okay? Your fluency and your consistency is pretty much predicated based off of how many audiences that you have running and how many audiences that you have access to, which means the more audience that you have access to, the more audiences that you have running, the more audiences that are doing well, you have more depth in the scaling process, which means that after micro Big Bang, your 1 to 5 does well. We're just going to go straight to Big Bang. Okay. And what happens is we're going to cycle back after we do our first renditions, then eventually launch the micro Big Bang 5 to 10 and the Big Bang 5. So notice how we have like a whole nother term of big launches, which means, guys, that once 1 to 5 is launched, we're running our 50 to 100 audiences in micro and it does well. Okay, let's move on to Big Bang. Okay. At Big Bang, what you're doing here is you're just taking all the audiences after day 5, okay, to day 8 that are still running and duplicating them all into a new campaign. The only thing that will change is the budget from $1.50 to $5, which means you're going to duplicate this entire campaign over. It will now be a Big Bang. And you'll be spending $5 a piece. Okay. What happens here is the following. Let's say this does well. Awesome. Let's say it doesn't do well. After day 3 to 5, you start turning off audiences, okay, that are, not really, performing properly according to KPI benchmarks and are well below our metrics. Keep that in mind. You'll follow the 3-day rule for a lot of these Big Bang audiences. Okay. And the audience that obviously gets sales, you'll start to look at based off the KPI benchmarks thereafter, which means that this micro Big Bang that just performed well is now just cleanly duplicated over to a new campaign. And we just call it Big Bang and put the budget on $5. What's going to happen here is we're taking all of our best pocketed audiences that have been performing on a consistent basis, over like tripling the budget and increasing our outbound capacity by 3x, right? To go ahead and hit 3 times the amount of people in this Big Bang. Okay. Which is pretty damn cool. What happens here? Now we have audiences that are performed on a $1.50 budget that are really high ROAS and gave you a great profit. And we have audiences that have performed on an amazing Big Bang campaign as well now too. After you're done launching this and after you're done killing after around 3 to 5 days and you're leaned out completely and you're kind of consistent and you want to move forward, you're going to move forward to CBO. What happens is this: a brand new campaign starts. CBO, $150 budget to start. You're taking, okay, your absolute best 5 to 8 most profitable audiences from micro Big Bang that are currently running. You're taking them all. They're all lookalikes. You're going to put them all in the CBO. You're starting on a $1.50 budget. Okay. What happens here is you're going to do 1-day click, since this is an actual fast spending campaign. You're not slow cooking the CBO. Okay. It's quick spending, 1-day click. what's happening here is you're going to run this for, 3 to 5 days. What oftentimes happens is you're going to be killing the ads that's below break even after 3 to 5 days. You're going to be increasing the budget by 20% daily every single time the campaign ends a day profitable. You're going to make sure that when the ROAS decreases, you're adding 3 other top performing audiences from Micro Big Bang into the CBO, which means, let's say we have this do well for a week. Oh, we did really, really well. Amazing. Then 2 days go by, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days go by. And we notice that 3 of the 8 audiences are absolutely sucking and throwing off our ROAS. We will turn off those 3 audiences. At any time that we ever turn off an audience in CBO, it's instantly replaced with the next best performing audiences from micro. We're literally pulling from the farm. This is why we call it the farm system. The farm is the Micro Big Bang. The farm is the Macro Big Bang. So that's why this is such an amazing system, because you could continue to create forward scale with things that just continue to feed itself in terms of the system. So when you turn off those 3 audiences out of the 8 that suck, you're replacing with the next best 3 from the Micro Big Bang. And guess what happens? It ultimately, in most cases, refreshes the consistency and pushes a linear scale right back up, which is pretty damn cool. You want to understand here as well that there's going to be times when you're doing well, you increase 20%, you did well again, you increase 20% again, you did well again, you increase 20% again, then it just tanks and goes to shit. Okay, when that happens, you want to revert it to 20%, to the previous 20% at which it had the previous consistency at. So if I increased by 20% last night because it did well and now it absolutely tanked, I'm going to go ahead and at midnight revert to yesterday's 20% number as to where it did well, and then slow cook for the next 2 to 3 days to let it gain its calibration back in terms of consistency. Okay. Now, with that being said, after CBO, when you have your CBO running, realize what we have running here, ladies and gents. We have our algorithmic campaign running. We have our remarketing campaign running. Okay, we have our duplicated algorithmic targeting audiences. We have our Micro Big Bang running. We have our Macro Big Bang running. We have our CBO running. That's the difference. Most people will operate with 1 or 2 campaigns with 3 audiences on $1,000 a piece. And that's why you see people wake up oh my God, my whole business is in the gutter. Only reason your business is in the gutter overnight is because you literally put all of your eggs in one basket. Why would I ever do that? Why would I ever put all of my eggs in one basket when I realize that e-commerce is sporadic by nature, when I could just go ahead and create a system like this and actually have real consistency and real linear scale? This is the difference between actually having a long-term business and then being the guy who's just a 1-month screenshot hero, right? Because, oh, I got the good month. All right, well, let me see the next 11 months. So this is what's going to keep the consistency. Okay. And look, you're going to see lots of, you see, I'm telling you, look in these other Facebook groups, you'll see what I'm talking about. After you're running the CBO here, watch what happens. Okay. We could go back to our micro stage, start a whole nother Micro Big Bang of 5 to 10. Have a whole nother campaign next to Micro Big Bang 1, that's Micro Big Bang 2. Do the same exact thing, okay, 5 to 8 days. Move it into Big Bang, same exact thing, 5 to 10. Okay, now I have more audiences to put into the CBO. Now I do another CBO, and I only pull from the secondary micro and the secondary Big Bang, and now I have a CBO. Look what we have running now, guys. Algorithmic targeting, remarketing, duplicated audiences in the algorithmic targeting, Micro Big Bang, CBO, Micro Big Bang 2, Big Bang 2, and then CBO 2. That is a freaking foundation. That is a foundation. Okay. That is how you actually achieve consistency. That's how you go to bed at night and wake up in the morning with sales and know that your business is not going to be in the gutter because one audience got banned or turned off by Facebook, right? Look at how deep that goes. Okay, if going through this gave you an aha moment, give me a 7 down below. So you can actually see the progression of this and how this works. Honest to God, when I first launched Big Bang, when the first time I ever did it, I couldn't effing believe it. I'm like, I genuinely think I just changed everything. And I really feel like I did. Okay, and this is why it works so well. And that's why you see people actually have consistency, because we build it like this.